People who are live, can you hear me? So I can see Akash, Hiren, Rashti, Sangeeta, Shehzad, Akash, everyone. I hope all of you can hear me, right? Just mention, am I audible or no? Is my voice audible to you? Can you guys see the presentation which I've opened up? Yes or no? Okay, so what do you think is the agenda for today's session, dude? People who are live now, what is the agenda for today's session? Perfect. A lot of people who are live now, I can see the comments here. I can see Manisha is here. I can see Bhumika is here. Ajay is here. Everyone is here. Okay, it's visibility also at the same time. That's amazing. Perfect. Let's quickly begin with the session agenda. So the agenda is simple. First of all, we understand arithmetic and algebra, the two important concepts, arithmetic and algebra, will constitute roughly around 30 to 40 percentage of the entire cont section of your CAT examination. But if I specifically focus on algebra, the kind of topics that you will go through in algebra will be based on equations, and then the most important AP and GP. These are the two important chapters which will come in the section of algebra. No doubt you will also have other elements of surds and indices, plus your logarithm will also be a part of it. But the most important, let me repeat it, the most important element of your algebra section is going to be your quadratic equation and your AP and GP. AP and GP is nothing but your arithmetic progression and geometric progression. Okay, so this today's webinar is going to be specific to equations, as such, and we'll see the patterns of question which CAT always has asked on the basis of this. And yes, the most important part is the conceptual understanding that we need to have. The most important part is the conceptual understanding that we need to have for algebra, which is equations. So people who are live as of now, tell me how many of you are comfortable with algebra, or how many of you are comfortable with equations? People who are live now, how many of you are comfortable with equations? Just say yes or yes, no, yes, no, yes, no. This will give me a clear idea about what sort of content do I have to present it to you in today's webinar. Are you guys comfortable with what equations would be? The types of equations? Good to see a lot of number of people are actually comfortable with equations. But on the advanced side, you will expect questions which are based on inequalities, plus at the same time polynomials at the same time. So the kind of question which comes in equation, specifically about the CAT examination, where is something where you will see whether in type 1 where the equation will be given to you, and the roots will be asked. This could be a quadratic equation, this could be a polynomial, or likewise so on and so forth. On the other side, you might get the roots of the equation, and you would have to decode the equation which you have to form. Okay. So before we proceed to important announcement, which I would love to make, yes, people who have not subscribed to the given channel, please subscribe and hit the bell icon so that you keep on getting the notification of it in your mailbox. Every webinar that we'll be taking up. In the description box, the WhatsApp night class link is also available. So people who have not activated their account, please go into the description box and click on the WhatsApp night class link so that your account gets activated. Let's start with the session. So perfect. I got the important notification from all of you, people who are comfortable with algebra, yes or no. Majorly people are saying yes. Shehzad and Sadat are saying yes, you are comfortable, but not very good. The most important highlight that you can recall from your school days algebra, let's say equations, is a standard equation that everyone, people who are live now with me, who will never forget any form of equation, is the standardized format of this equation, which is in the form of ax squared plus bx plus c is equal to 0. How many of you have seen this equation or this equation pattern? I'm sure all of you who are live have seen this equation type, right? Have seen this equation type. But let me not teach you what is quadratic equation. Let me start with something which is more generic. Let me start with something which is more generic, which is nothing but your equations. Okay. But understand the kind of equations which you will see whether you give the CAT exam or the non-CAT examination can be categorized into various categories. The first category will be nothing but your linear equation. Second would be quadratic equation. So these are from the CAT exam perspective, these are the only two kind of equations which are the most prominent variety on which the questions are framed on. But it may happen, it has happened in before also in the previous year CAT papers. On the advanced level, there are questions which are based on cubic equation. There are questions which are based on biquadratic equation. Cubic equation is where the highest power of 3. Biquadratic equation is the equation where the highest power is 4. These type of equations will be simply classified as polynomials. These type of equations will be simply classified as polynomials. In today's session, I'll give you a brief perspective of each and every type of equation, be it linear equation, quadratic equation, cubic, biquadratic, or polynomials. Some of you might have been hearing this name, which is biquadratic, for the first time. But believe me, I'm going to make your life simpler by teaching you the core concepts of equation. So the only thing which I want you to be glued till the end of this webinar. It's a 1 hour session that we'll be having, and all the possible concepts will be cleared as far as what concepts of equation would be, whether it is the higher order quadratic equation or the simple linear or quadratic equation, which will come up. So let's understand what is the equation. So any expression, let me repeat, any expression which has a variable, will be called as an equation. For example, if I give you x minus 4 is equal to 0, if I say x minus 4 is equal to 0, and if I ask you, is this an equation? All of you will say, yes, this is an equation. Now, if my question goes to you that, tell me what type of equation is this? All of you will say, this is a linear equation. So how do you understand whether equation is linear or quadratic? Depending on the degree. If the degree which is the highest power of any of the term, I repeat, if the highest power of any of the term in the expression is 1, that equation will be called as a linear equation. And if I ask you, okay, linear equation has a degree of 1, tell me the number of roots which is available for a linear equation. You will say roots are the solution for the equation. And if x minus 4 is equal to 0, the value of x is nothing but plus 4. The value of x is nothing but plus 4. So we understand linear equation is those equations where the degree, the highest power of any term is nothing but 1, and the number of roots or the number of solutions possible is also 1. So I'm breaking down the types of equation. on the basis of the degree and the roots. On the other side, if I give you something like x square minus 4 is equal to 0, I repeat, x square minus 4 will be equal to 0. All of you will say this time x square is equal to 4, and the value of x, it's going to be either plus 2 or minus 2. Since the degree is 2, you will say this is a quadratic equation. And you understand quadratic equation is something where the degree is how much? Degree is 2. And so the roots will be how much? There will be 2 roots which is possible. Okay. So the kind of question that you may expect in quadratic equation will be based on the nature of roots. Okay. Will be also based on nature of roots. We'll do all the possible kind of sum also. Please don't worry about that. Let's understand the pattern of equations. Similarly, if you go ahead, if I give you an expression, let's say ax cube plus bx square plus cx plus d is equal to 0. If I give you this expression, you understand here the highest power of 3. So you have something which is called as a cubic equation, where the highest power of any term is 3, and the number of roots or solution which is possible is 3. So depending on the highest power, I repeat, depending on the highest power of any of the term, you can classify the types of equation in the form of linear equation, quadratic equation, cubic equation, or a biquadratic equation. A biquadratic equation is the equation where the highest degree is 4, the degree which is the highest power is 4, and the number of solutions which is also possible is 4. The general form of representation of a biquadratic equation will be ax raised to 4 plus bx cube plus cx square plus dx plus e is equal to 0. Now tell me, how many of you are comfortable with solving questions based on cubic or biquadratic or polynomials? I will arrange the session, the remaining part of the session. Likewise, tell me how many of you are comfortable solving the expressions which are in the form of cubic equation, biquadratic, or polynomials. Tell me that. Just say yes or no. Are you guys comfortable solving polynomials, the higher order quadratic equation? Just say yes or no. Are you guys comfortable solving polynomials? Perfect. So people who are not comfortable, or even if people are comfortable with solving polynomials, I'll make sure it's a mixture. It's a mixture of easy, medium, and difficult level questions. All the previous year CAT questions I've taken of CAT 2012, CAT 2013, CAT 2007, the most difficult questions I've chosen. But I'm going to give you the most simplest approach in which you can solve the question. This is going to be possible only and only if your concepts are clear. This is going to be possible only and only if your concepts are clear. Okay, let's start with something which is on the basis of quadratic equation. Perfect. Let me make your life simpler. Believe me, I tried as much as possible. After this 1 hour of a session, none of you will be facing difficulty with respect to solving the higher order quadratic equation. So the only thing which I want is for the next 1 hour, stay glued and learn as much as possible in today's session, and ask as many relevant possible questions also in the open webinar that we have chosen. We understand a quadratic equation is given by a general expression, which is ax squared plus bx plus c is equal to 0. And we understand the number of roots which is possible for this quadratic equation is how much? 2. To generalize this, we always say alpha and beta. We also say alpha and beta are the roots of the equation. These are the values which, if you can put into the equation on its own will also get satisfied. The equation on its own will also get satisfied. We also understand if ax square plus bx plus c is equal to 0, then the sum of the root, which is alpha plus beta, is given by the value of minus b by a, and the product of the roots, which is alpha into beta, is given by plus c by a. I hope people who are live with me can recall something what you have studied in your school, which is sum of the root and the product of the root. We'll just change the definition of the way we have learned. I repeat, we'll change the definition the way we have learned, and we'll be able to understand the higher order quadratic equation also at the same time. So if ax squared plus bx plus c is equal to 0, the sum of the root will be given by minus b by a, which is alpha plus beta, and the product of the roots will be given by plus c by a. Perfect. That's perfectly all right with all of you. Let me take a higher order quadratic equation. Let me take a cubic equation. A cubic equation will be given by ax cubed plus bx squared plus cx plus d is equal to 0. That's how a cubic equation will come up. And we also understand the number of roots will be how much? 3. Let me term this as alpha, beta, and gamma. Let me term this as alpha, beta, and gamma are the 3 roots. I repeat, are the 3 roots for this cubic equation. As of now, we have learned that minus b by a. As of now, we have learned that minus b by a is nothing but the sum of the root, and plus c by a is nothing but the product of the roots. Let me change the definition that we have learned till now. We understand in the quadratic equation there are only 2 roots, which is alpha and beta. Alpha and beta. If I take the roots one at a time, let me repeat. If I take the roots one at a time, if you add alpha and beta, considering this as a single unit, if I add alpha and beta considering this as a single unit, you can also say minus b by a is nothing but sum of all the roots taking one at a time. Minus b by a is the expression for sum of all the roots taking one at a time. We understand the only possible root was alpha and beta. So if you add it one at a time, it's going to look like alpha plus beta. On the other side, we understand plus c by a is given by a value which is called as the product of the roots. Let's change the way we have learned. We'll say this is sum of all the roots taking 2 at a time, which is alpha and beta combined. Sum of all the roots taking 1 at a time is given by minus b by a. I repeat, sum of all the roots taking 1 at a time is given by minus b by a. Sum of all the roots taking 2 at a time will be given by plus c by a. So this is minus b by a. Sum of all the roots taking 2 at a time will be given by plus c by a. If I have to generalize this, if I got to generalize this in the cubic expression also, you will say sum of all the roots which is taking 1 at a time will look like alpha plus beta plus gamma. This is sum of all the roots taking 1 at a time. Alpha plus beta plus gamma will be again given by nothing but minus b by a. The expression does not change. It is still minus b by a. Now, if you have to take sum of the roots taking 2 at a time, there are 3 roots, alpha, beta, and gamma. I'm going to take this value as alpha into beta, beta into gamma, and alpha into gamma. Sum of all the roots taking 2 at a time will be given by plus c by a. On the other side, you can also go on till the level of expression which you have got. Sum of all the roots taking 1 at a time, sum of all the roots taking 2 at a time, and we have got something which is called as sum of all the roots taking 3 at a time. 3 at a time, you multiply all 3 of them together, will be given by minus d by a. Or what you are saying is b by a, c by a, d by a. The only thing that we are doing is changing the sign alternatively. We are just changing the sign alternatively. So sum of all the roots taking 1 at a time will be minus b by a. Sum of the roots taking 2 at a time will be given by plus c by a. Sum of the roots taking 3 at a time will be given by minus d by a. I repeat, this is minus d by a. All of you, is this clear? Is this clear to all of you? People who are live? People who are live, is this clear to all of you? We just have to change the definition that we have been learning till now, and your life is going to be simplified. Let me give you the actual question based on this. I can also give you a question which is based on this, actual CAT question, which will be slightly more difficult, but we'll always find an easy way to solve the question. I hope this part is clear to all of you, right? Okay, that's amazing. Let me give you a question based on this. Let me give you a question which is based on this. Okay, perfect. Let's take a cubic expression. 7x cubed plus 6x squared plus 5x plus 4 is equal to 0. Let's say this is a cubic equation that we have got. We know the number of roots. We know the number of roots will be how much? 3. And let's term the values as alpha, beta, and gamma. The question is, I repeat, the question is alpha, beta, and gamma. Alpha, beta, and gamma are the 3 roots for this equation. Find the sum of 1 by alpha plus 1 by beta plus 1 by gamma. The question is alpha, beta, and gamma are the roots of the equation. And the question is find a sum of the reciprocal. Find a sum of the reciprocal of the roots, which is 1 by alpha plus 1 by beta plus 1 by gamma plus 1 by gamma. Okay. And the question which goes to you is, do we actually have to find the roots of this equation? Do we actually have to find the roots of the equation first and then putting into the terms of the reciprocal of the same value, and then only you'll be able to solve? The answer is no. If you just add 1 by alpha plus 1 by beta plus 1 by gamma, the LCM will look like alpha, beta, gamma multiplied. The numerator of the first value will become beta into gamma. The numerator of the second value will become alpha into gamma. The numerator of the third value will become alpha into beta. That's what it's going to be, right? That's what it's going to be, right? Perfect. Now, if you see this, the first expression of your numerator is nothing but sum of all the roots taking 2 at a time. You're dividing nothing but sum of all the roots taking 2 at a time, dividing by sum of all the roots taking 3 at a time. All what you're doing is dividing sum of all the roots taking 2 at a time, dividing sum of all the roots by 3 at a time. We understand sum of all the roots taking 2 at a time. 1 at a time is minus b by a. 1 at a time is minus b by a. 2 at a time is plus c by a. 3 at a time is minus d by a. Perfect. Now, the sum of all the roots taking 2 at a time, the value will be plus c by a. This is the value of c, this is the value of a, this is the value of c, and this is the value of d. So c by a will become nothing but 5 upon 7, and d upon a minus d by a will become minus 4 by 7, minus 4 by 7. So your final answer will be nothing but 5 upon 7 into 4 upon 7 upon minus 4. 7 will get cancelled. The answer is minus 5 by 4. The answer will be minus 5 upon 4. All of you have given me the right answer. I'm very happy to see that. So first of all, understand these are the forms of equation. I repeat, these are the forms of equation. The values of all the higher order quadratic equation, I repeat, be it a cubic expression, biquadratic, or any other damn polynomials can be taken out, provided the learning is made simpler. Provided the learning is made simpler. Learning is made simpler in such a way, the only thing that we have to learn now is this is not sum of the roots. This is sum of the roots taking 1 at a time. And this is not the product of the roots. This is sum of the roots taking 2 at a time. So sum 1 at a time, sum of the roots 2 at a time, and sum of the roots 3, 4, 5, and 6. Depending on the kind of equation you're dealing with, you can solve these questions faster and quickly, also very quickly. Okay, I hope all of you have understood this. Is this clear to all of you? Is this clear to all of you? Perfect. Let's again restart with something which is based on quadratic equation. So the first thing that we have learned is how to make higher order quadratic equation, any polynomial based on the quadratic equation. Now, second thing that we are learning as of now is basically quadratic equation where the roots are given, and you have to find the equation. Where the roots are given and you have to find the equation based on that. Let's say I have got this expression ax squared plus bx plus c, and we know alpha and beta are the roots of the equation. We know alpha and beta are the roots of the equation. I'll give you a small technique in which you can form the new equations very quickly by changing the root. Let's say if we have to form a new equation, which is k more, let's say which is k more than the given root, alpha and beta are the roots of this equation, and you have to form a new equation which is in the form of alpha plus k and beta plus k. So if you want to form a new equation with the roots of alpha plus k and beta plus k, the change in equation will just simply be change the value of x in terms of x minus k the whole square plus b times x minus k plus c is equal to 0. That's a simple change which you will do. If you have to add the value of k, subtract the value of k from the expression of x square and x. This is the first type in which you can form a new equation. Second, if you want to make a new equation in the form of alpha minus k and beta minus k, you are removing the value of constant from the given equation. All what you have to do now is change the value. Now this time you will add x plus k the whole square plus b times x plus k plus c is equal to 0. Third, if you want to form a new equation where you are dividing the value of roots by the given constant, let's say alpha by k and beta by k. Now here, since you want the equation with the roots of alpha by k and beta by k, all what you have to do is change the expression, put the value of k times x square plus b times kx plus c is equal to 0. So if you want to divide, the expression will be multiplied. If you want to, again, fourth type, if you want to multiply k times alpha and let's say k times beta, again, what you will do now? A times, the value will get divided. K by x the whole square plus b times x by k plus c is equal to 0. If the fifth type is going to be the most relevant type, because many of the CAT questions have come on this. The question is, if alpha and beta are the roots of the equation, and if you want the new equation with the reciprocal of the earlier roots, which is 1 by alpha and 1 by beta. So with alpha and beta being the root, the equation was ax square plus bx plus c. The new equation where the roots is 1 by alpha and 1 by beta will become, just interchange the value of a to c and c to a. The same expression will change. It will become cx square plus bx plus a is equal to 0. Believe me, this you can consider this to be as a Bible chart. I repeat, this you can consider as a Bible chart for solving all the difficult level questions of the CAT examination. Let's take a question which is based on this. I'm giving you a CAT 2012 question. Based on this. The question says, I hope you are able to see and the fonts are visible also. The question says, find a quadratic equation whose roots are half of the reciprocal of the given expression. So we understand ax square plus bx plus c is equal to 0. The roots will be nothing but alpha and beta. They are asking you to find a new equation with 1 by 2 alpha and 1 by 2 beta. Now this is a mixture of type 4 and type 5. 1, you are dividing the root by 1 by 2, you are multiplying by 1 by 2, and then you are taking the reciprocal also. So first of all, we understand whenever it's getting reciprocal, whenever you want the equation with the roots which have been with the reciprocal of the earlier roots, the coefficient will just change. The same expression will ideally become cx square plus bx plus a is equal to 0. cx square plus bx plus a is equal to 0. That's what we have got. Now, secondly, we have taken care of one of the case where the reciprocal has been taken out. Now you want 1 by 2 times. You want 1 by 2 times. So you're dividing. You're dividing by 1 by 2. So the same thing in the form of an expression will become what? X into 2 the whole square plus b times 2x plus a is equal to 0. That's the same pattern which I have showcased here. If you want to divide by k in the expression, multiply by k. If you want to multiply by k, divide in the expression by k. If you do this in the equation, the value will become c times 2x the whole square will become 4x square. Then 2bx plus a is equal to 0. That's how simply you can form the equation. So c times 4x square. So it is 4cx square. 2bx plus a is equal to 0. And hence the answer for this given question. Hence the answer for the given question is option number A. So there are two things we have taken care of. One, the reciprocal. If it is the reciprocal of the roots, the value of A will interchange with C. The value of C will interchange with A. Second thing that we have taken care of, the values have been halved, which is 1 by 2. So if it is 1 by 2, all what we have done now is putting the value of x as 2x, 2x square and single 2x. If you do this, the answer will be simply out and the answer will be nothing but option B. I hope this part is clear. If this part is clear, let me take a level up. All of you, is this clear to all of you? Yes or no? Just say yes or no. People who are live with me, just say yes or no. Is this clear? Is the concept clear? Now, the second question which I've taken now is from CAT 2013 question. It's from the previous year question paper, CAT 2013, and believe me, even if you solve this question, I repeat, people who are live, make sure you're sticking to this question. This question type can possibly open all the possible chords in which you have all the possible dimensions in which you've been thinking quadratic equations or higher quadratic equation till now. I'll give you the most easiest way in which equations are formed. The linear equation, the quadratic equation, the cubic equation, and the biquadratic equation. Let's start with this question. The question which is available to you now is the values of x and y. The values of x and y have been given to you. So when the value of x was 1, the corresponding value of y was 4. The value of x was 2, it was 8, 3 was 14, 4 was 22, 5 was 32, and 6 was 44. And the question is, from the above table, the suitably chosen values of constant a, b, and c, which of the following best describes the relationship between x and y? So the most standard way of solving this question is by putting a graph. And I'm sure a lot of you, people who are live, a lot of you will face difficulty for solving this question if you plot graph of this. Graph of this. So let me tell you equations, functions, inequalities, and graphs. Equation, functions, inequalities, and graphs. All the 4 chapters can be clubbed together and then you can solve this question very easily, but will not use the approach of graphical representation of the value to solve the equation. So the question is, which of the following expression, option A, option B, option C, or option D, best describes the relationship between x and y? If we decode, option number A deals with linear equation. It's the equation of a straight line. It's the equation of a straight line. Option number 2 deals with a quadratic equation. Option number 3 deals with exponential equation, which is difficult for you to comprehend, but I'm not going to touch that. Please don't worry about that. In a very simplistic approach, we can solve this. And option number D is none of these, which is none of these. So A stands for linear equation, equation of a straight line. Option number B is quadratic equation, C is exponential, and D is none of these. Believe me, next 5 minutes is going to change all the possible dimensions in which you have been thinking quadratic equation. If you think this is the most difficult question of CAT examination, let me tell you, this is the most silliest question which can come in the paper, because all your individual caliber is much and much above than what you're considering as of now. Sangeeta, Sarat, the answer is not A. So just stick to it. I'm going to help you out with all the decoding of this question. Let's understand what is an equation. A linear equation. If you have to plot a graph of linear equation, all of you will agree the linear equation can be expressed in the form of a straight line. In the form of a straight line. Tell me, if I decode the values, if I decode the values of x and y in terms of 1, 2, 2, 4, 3, 6, 4, 8, and 5, 10. And if I ask you which expression decodes the value or the relationship between x and y, all of you will simply plot a graph 1, 2, 2, 4, 3, 6, and all of you will make a straight line. And all of you will make a straight line. And this straight line will be nothing but the linear equation. We understand linear equation are those equations where the highest power of any term is 1. The highest power is 1. I hope all of you are with me. The highest power is how much? 1. Let's take the difference. Let's take the difference of x and y. The difference of x and y, 1, 2, the difference is 1. 2, 4, the difference is 2. 3, 6, the difference is 3. Similarly, 4 and 5. Since the highest power of the term, since the highest power is 1, let's decode the difference of the first term. Let's decode the difference of the first term between x and y. You got the difference of the values in the terms of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Do you think 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is in that form of an AP? People who are alive, do you think the difference between 1, 2, 3, and 4 and 5 is a common constant difference which is 1? Just say yes or no. Do you think the values are forming an AP? Yes or no? Do you think the values are just going ahead with a common constant difference which is plus 1, plus 1, plus 1, plus 1, plus 1? Yes or no? So believe me, friends, the simplest approach which I can give you, is if the difference of values forms an AP, I repeat, if the difference of values forms an AP, it's a linear equation. If the difference of values forms an AP, it's a linear equation. Okay, the difference of the values is forming an AP. The only equation which can be formed is a linear equation or a straight line. If the difference of difference forms an AP, this is a quadratic equation. If the difference of difference forms an AP, this is a cubic equation. And that's how you can decode which form of the equation this table will belong to. Let's take the difference of x and y. The values are 1, 4, 2, 8, 3, 14, 4, 22, 5, 32, and 6, 44. Let's take the first difference. Of 1, 4, the difference is 3. 2, 8, the difference is 6. 14, 3, the difference will be 11. 22, 4, the difference is 18. 32, 5, the difference is 27. 48, 6, the difference is 38. Do you think, people who are alive, do you think the difference of values are constant? Do you think the values are going ahead with the same common difference? The answer is no. Let's take the difference once again. Difference of 3 and 6 is 3. Here it is 5. Here it is 7. Here it is 9. Here it is 11. Let's check whether these values are going ahead with a common constant difference. Let's understand whether these values are going ahead with a common constant difference. 2, 2, 2, and 2. Do you think the difference of difference is forming an AP? The difference of difference is forming an AP. Yes or no? People who are alive, just say yes or no. Just say yes or no. We understand the highest power of a quadratic equation. The highest power of a quadratic equation is 2. All what we are checking is difference of difference. So if the difference of difference is forming an AP, the answer, without doing anything, you will mark option number B as the final answer. This is the most simplistic approach which I can give you to crack CAT level questions. And believe me, it's not the case that it deals with any shortcut or any important application. These are pure concepts. These are simply pure concepts. And you do not have to decode formulas, theorems, and properties. If a simple number-based properties is clear, how equations are formed, whether it is linear, quadratic, cubic, biquadratic, whatsoever it may be in the word, the answer will simply lie in simple concepts. So there are a couple of questions which you have got. Akash is saying 44 and not 40. I did not get the question which Akash is asking me. If you can help me out with the question once again. Raj, option number B, as I'm telling you, so option number B, this is the expression of quadratic equation. Abhi to humne kiya na? हमने अभी देखा क्वाड्रेटिक इक्वेशन हम कैसे देते हैं, ax square plus bx plus c को हम क्वाड्रेटिक इक्वेशन बनाते हैं, राइट. द हाईएस्ट डिग्री इज 2. हाईएस्ट डिग्री इज 2 का मतलब है डिफरेंस ऑफ डिफरेंसेस फॉर्मिंग इन एपी. Difference of differences forming in AP. Okay, Sangeeta, the question is when the answer will be a plus bx. To decode you, to help you out with the understanding, only when you have a linear equation. See, 1 has become 4, 2 has become 8, 3, if 3 becomes 12, 4 becomes 16, 5 becomes 20, 6 becomes 24. If the values are multiplied with a common constant, if the values are multiplied with a common constant, let's say 1 4, 2 8, 3 12, 4 16, 5 20, 6 24. This kind of equation will give you option number 1. Here the difference is 3, 6, 9, 12, then 15, and then 18. The difference between the values are constant, which is 3. I hope this is clear. Sangeeta, did I answer your question? But it's visible to you. It is visible to you that 1 is becoming 4, 2 is becoming 8. Dude, 3 is not becoming 12, and hence the answer cannot be option number 1. Hence the answer will not be option number 1. And that's how you can eliminate the options also. Is this clear? Okay, let's take this question. I'm taking CAT 2007 question for all of you. I'm taking CAT 2007 question for all of you. Now, people who are live, let me tell you, what is CAT? CAT is an examination which is going to make your life miserable and terrible. Why? Because they can give you the most complex question. They can give you the most complex question. But let me tell you, the length of the question. This is a template line which I can just go on saying n number of times. The length of the question will not decide the complexity of the question. If the length becomes difficult or huge, it is not the case the question is complex. So in the previous webinars, I have told you that you would have to select the questions in round 1 and round 2. In round 1 and round 2, right? Okay. Now, length of the question will not decide whether you will select the question in round 1 or round 2. These are simple questions. Please don't worry about that. Let's take this question, a CAT 2007 question. The question says, consider the set S, which has values of 2, 3, 4 till 2n plus 1, where n is a positive integer larger than 2007. So the closest value which I can consider for the value of n will be 2008. Why? Because this is the question which came in 2007. If the same question comes in 2020, the value will just change. The formatting will not change. Please don't worry about that. The question says, define x as the average of all the integers. X is the average of all the odd integers which you have in the set. Y is the average of all the even integers which you have in the set. The question is, find the value of x comma x minus y. The question is, find the sum of x comma y. So the terms of the set S is basically given by values 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Do we have to go till 2008? Because if I put the value of n as 2008, the value will become 2 into 2008 plus 1. 2 into 2008 will become 4016. 4016 plus 1 will become 4017. Do you think we have to consider the set of 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 till 4017? The answer is no. The length of the question has intentionally increased just to make you think twice, thrice, and number of times, so that you can leave this question and go to the easier question. But believe me, this is the most simplest question which can come. The value of 2007 is redundant. The value of 2007 is just redundant. It is of no use. You can practically take a set of a value which is n, could be anything. N could be anything. It could be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. It could be anything. If I do not consider the value of n as 2007, if I consider the value of n as let's say 2, if 2 into 2 is become 2 and 2 into 2 will become 4, 4 plus 1 will become 5. If I consider the value of n as 3, this will become 6 plus 1 7. So the set will become 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Let's consider the set only this much. Let's consider the set only and only this much. Let's take the value of x as the odd integers. Odd is 3, 5, 7. Let's consider the set of y which is even integers. The values which are even integers is how much? 2, 4, 6. If 3, 5 and 7 are the sets of odd value, we always understand if 3, 5 and 7 is a given set, and if we have to find the average of 3, 5 and 7, the average of 3, 5 and 7 is always the middle value. Similarly, the average of y, which is 2, 4 and 6, is always the middle value, 4. So the answer is nothing but 5 minus 4, which is simply 1. And hence, the answer for the given question is option number 2. The answer for the given question, Nikhil, Akhil, perfect. All of you have given me the right answer. It's my pleasure teaching you, all of you. Just in case if you're not able to understand, please be blunt. Please do not consider it's the rapport relationship between the teacher or the faculty. Just the only thing which I want from all of you is an openness with respect to, if you're able to understand, please appreciate and click on the like button so that I can keep getting the notification that people are with me and they're able to comprehend whatever I'm teaching you. If you are not able to understand, please tell me into the comment box so that I can redo the same question n number of times till the time you are not able to understand. The answer for the length of the question will not decide the complexity of the question here. That's a learning which I can give you in this by solving this question. Bhumika, what I'm saying is the set is 2, 3, 4 till 2n plus 1. What is the value of n? This is something which you do not know, I do not know. If there's something which you do not know, I do not know, what do? We assume. You can assume the value to be as 1, 2 or 3 whatsoever. If I assume the value of n as 2, the question will become 2, 3, 4 and 5. 2 into 2 plus 1 will become 5. What is the odd number? What are the odd numbers here? 3, 5. What are the even numbers here? 2, 4. What is the average of 3, 5? 4. What is the average of 2, 4? 3. The difference, that's what the question is, no? Value of x minus y, which is 4 minus 3. It is always 1. It doesn't change. It is just 1, 1, 1. It doesn't change. So why should I consider 2007? Am I mad? I will not do that. No. If the questions can be solved by simply looking at the values, you would be able to solve them faster. Let's take up this question. This is CAT 2007 question. This is CAT 2007 question. Let's take this question. Many of you will think that this is again a very difficult question that we will not be able to comprehend. But believe me, all the questions, n number of sessions that whatever we deliver, will be teaching you with all the possible applications. The only thing which I want, so my peak season in which I deliver sessions will start in the month of July end. By when? I want all of you to be comfortable with at least 3 or 4 mock tests and the basic level concepts which are going on in your live sessions. So once I start taking the sessions, I'll teach you more number of applications, which is going to be more relevant for the CAT examination. But the only thing which I want is the next 2 months, brush up all the basic concepts. Concepts does not mean you have to learn formulas and theorem. The core fundamentals of numbers will also help you out to solve the questions. That's what my humble request would be to all of you. Let's take the question. This is CAT 2007 question. Seems a difficult question. The question says, the price of Darjeeling tea is given in the form of an expression. The price of a Darjeeling tea is given to you in the form of an expression 100 plus 0.10 n, where n is the nth day, where n is the nth day of 2007. Let's say 1st January. 1st January will be n is 1. So the value of Darjeeling tea is nothing but 100 plus 0.1 on 1st January. Similarly, 2nd January, 3rd January, 4th January, the value of n will keep on changing and you can decide the pricing on the basis of day. On the other side, you have got something which is called as an OTT. OTT, the price is nothing but 89 plus 0.15 n. It is 0.15 n. Okay. Where n again, what is the value of n? N is the nth day of the year, which is 1 to 365. The only difference between the Darjeeling tea and the OTT is, for Darjeeling it is 100 plus 0.1 N, but it goes from 1 to 100, and OTT goes from 1 to 365. After 100 day, the value of Darjeeling tea will become constant, will simply become constant. The question is on what date, I repeat, on what date the prices of the two varieties of tea will be equal. A lot of you will solve this question by equating the equation, which is 100 plus 0.10 N will be in the form of 89 plus 0.15 N. You will solve this equation likewise. But believe me, there's nothing which you would have to do like this. There's nothing which you would have to do like this. Why? Because after a certain time, after a certain month, the value of Darjeeling tea will become constant. Let's say if I consider the 100 day, if I consider the price of the 100 day of Darjeeling tea, the value of Darjeeling tea will look like 100 plus 0.10 into 100. What is 100 plus into 0.1? This is 10. 10 plus 100 will become 110, 110. So the highest price of Darjeeling tea is nothing but 110. The highest price of Darjeeling tea is 110. Then you have got something which is called as OTT. OTT is going on. It's 89 plus 0.15 N. So after certain time, I repeat, after certain time, what's going to happen? The value of OTT will surpass the value of Darjeeling tea. That's what we have to understand, which means this is not an equation or the question we have where we have to equate the expression. We know the highest value of Darjeeling tea is 110, and after some time, OTT will just surpass 110. So the only thing which we have to understand here, this is a simple question which deals with 89 plus 0.15 N is equal to 110. Do you think this is a question of your caliber? I totally understand. This is a question which is much below your caliber. Can we solve this question very quickly? All of you. Sangeeta, I think the answer is right. We'll quickly cross-check also. This is a question which is much below your caliber. So 0.15 N is 110 minus 89, which is 21. So the value of N is nothing but 21 into 100 divided by 15. Just quickly do 2100 divided by 15. Tell me what is the answer we are getting. What do we get? 2100 divided by 15. The question is only this much. Do you think this is a CAT level question? I think your caliber is much above this. I still think your caliber is much above this. This is a story which has come. The objective is do not focus on story. This is nonsense. The answer is 140. The answer is just over. Tell me 148 day. 148 day belongs to which day? 2007 is the non-leap year. So January will have 31 days, 28 days in Feb, 31 days in March, 30 days in April. So Jan, Feb, March, April. If you add 31, 28, 31 and 20, the value will become 120. Okay. So till 30th of April, the value is 120. 20 days more. The answer is 20th of May. The answer is simply 20th of May. I hope all of you are with me. I hope all of you understood also how do we solve these questions. Is this clear to all of you? Yes or no? If all of you have understood, please click the like button. If not, please put it into the comment box. I can redo it a number of times for you. Perfect. If you have understood, let me take a CAT 2008 question. This seems to be a difficult question. And believe me, in terms of complexity, the question that you can see here, can be considered to be the most difficult question that can come in the examination. So if you want to consider this as a webinar, this webinar as something, you can consider the question that we are solving now is the apex. This is the utmost difficult question which may come up. This is the utmost difficult question which may come up in the examination. And if you guys can solve this question, I cannot assure you how much marks you will get, but you will be able to solve the CAT level questions on the D-Day also very easily. very, very easily. Let's try to decode what the question means to say. The only hint which I can give you for before we solve this question is simply one rule. They give you all the question in the form of a story. I repeat, all the questions will be in the form of a story. Our objective is simple. We do not have to fall into the trap of a story. We have to focus on the learnings and the concepts, which is going to make our life simpler to solve these CAT level questions. Let's take this question. And you can solve the question in 15 seconds also. Let me tell you. We can solve this question in 15 seconds too, provided we have understood the concept really well. The question says, A, B, C are the roots of the equation, which is x cubed minus 4x plus 24 is equal to 0. This is the equation which we have got. Which equation is this? Which equation is this? We understand this is a cubic expression. This is a cubic equation. And how many roots will be there? There will be 3 roots. Let me term the roots as alpha, beta, and gamma. Let me term the roots as alpha, beta, and gamma. The question says, form the new equation where the roots are, let's say alpha, beta, and gamma ki jagah, I am giving you A, B, and C. A, B, and C. Form the new equation where the roots are B plus C plus A, and A plus B. This is the new roots. So I told you the kind of question which they can ask you is, they can either give you an equation and you have to find the root, and either they can give you a root. Roots are available and you would have to form the equation. Either of the two things, vice versa will come. So tell me, is this the holistic? Do you think it is the holistic cubic expression? The answer is no, because the coefficient of x square is not given to you. The actual equation will look like 1x cube plus 0x square minus 4x plus 24 is equal to 0. What is the coefficient of x square? What do you think is the coefficient of the x square? Tell me. In the given expression, what is the coefficient of x square? The coefficient of the x square is how much? What is the coefficient of x square? It is 0. I have told you one thing before I started taking the question. We can give you the expression in the form of roots. Let's say sum of the roots taking 1 at a time, sum of the roots taking 2 at a time, and sum of the roots taking 3 at a time. This is given by minus b by a. This is given by minus b by a. Sum of the roots taking 2 at a time. Sum of the roots taking 2 at a time is given by plus c by a. And the sum of the roots taking 3 at a time will be given by minus d by a. This is the learning which I have given you here, right? If you have understood this much, solving this CAT question is a matter of 10 seconds, not even more than that. I repeat, if you have understood this part, you can solve the question in the next 10 seconds also. So we understand alpha a plus b plus c is given by minus b by a. The value of b is 0. So can we say the value of a plus b plus c is 0? Just say yes or no. Can we say the sum of root is given by 0 by 1, which is minus b by a? Do you think the sum of the root, which is a plus b plus c, is equal to 0? Just say yes or no. Just say yes or no. Can we say the sum of roots taking 1 at a time? Princeton, Nikhil, Malcolm, Akhil, Sarat, Sai, everyone, people who are live. Can we say, tell me, can we say the sum of the roots is nothing but 0? If the sum of the root is 0, see the roots is, so if a plus b is plus c is equal to 0, let me tell you, if a plus b plus c is equal to 0, can we say b plus c is equal to minus a? Can we say c plus a is equal to minus b? Can we say a plus b is equal to minus c? And can we replace the roots of b plus c, c plus a, and a plus b in a simple form of minus a, minus b, and minus c? Can we say this much? If you have understood this, it's a matter of next 5 seconds and the answer will be out. The original equation had the roots of a, b, and c. You have to form the equation where the roots are minus a, minus b, and minus c. I have told you one thing, that let me take you back to the slide which I have given you here. Let me take you back. If you want to multiply with a constant, If you want to multiply with a constant, divide by the same constant. So if I want the product, if the roots to be multiplied by -1, if I want the roots to be multiplied by -1, divide the expression of x square and x by simply -1. If I take this again, the question, all what you need to do is a, b, and c were the initial roots. You want the roots to be -a, -b, -c. The expression was x cube minus 4x plus 24 is equal to 0. Just change in this form, minus x cube minus 4 minus x plus 24, and the answer is over. This minus x cube plus 4x plus 24 is equal to 0. So the answer will become, if I multiply with -1 to the whole expression, it will become plus x cube minus 4x minus 24. This is plus 24 is equal to 0. There will be no change here. So what answer will you mark here? What answer will you mark here? Sangeeta, the question says you have the roots in the form of a, b, and c. We understood the new roots is -a, -b, -c. All what we are doing is the original roots have to be multiplied by -1. If the roots are multiplied by -1, if you want to form an equation, in the equation, divide the coefficient by -1 of minus x square and x cube and x. So the equation is minus x cube minus 4 into minus x plus 24. Tell me what is the answer. Please ensure there's no mistake here. Please ensure that there's no mistake here. Sai, Sarat, Akhil, Sangeeta, everyone, people who are live, what is the answer? So minus x cube. So this expression was minus 4 into minus x plus 24. What is the final answer? So this is minus x cube plus 4x plus 24 is equal to 0. That's what you have got. What answer will you mark here? The answer will become plus x cube minus 4x minus 24 is equal to 0. And the answer goes to option number 1, which is option number A. The option goes to option number 1, which is A. I hope you have understood this. You got minus x cube plus 4x plus 24. You multiply by -1. And that's how quickly you can solve the questions. Tell me, was it a difficult question? Just tell me yes or no. People who are live, just tell me. Do you think this question was difficult? Do you think your caliber is underrated? Do you think you are not able to solve the CAT level questions? Is it difficult? Is it difficult to comprehend? Is it difficult to apply? Is it difficult to understand the application? I don't think so. This is the case. The only thing, so these are the two important slides. You can actually take a snapshot also. By changing the roots, you can form a new expression. And how do you understand and formulate the higher order quadratic equation based on simple equations? Questions like this, where you are just checking the difference of values and understanding which expression can this be? A linear equation, quadratic equation, cubic, x, y, z. Do you think is this underrated? Do you think your caliber is underrated? Do you think the questions which we have taken as of now? I mean, I am sure these are the questions this is the apex. These are the most difficult questions which may come up in the examination, which has come in the CAT paper. And all of us, we have taken just 1 minute or 1.5 minutes to solve this question. The only thing that we are focused now is the initial concept, which is going to be the benchmark. Focus on concepts, apply the same logic, look into the options, and you will be able to solve the question. Raj, your question says, to multiply, we already divided, right? So if you are multiplying by -1, you divide. So if you divide by -1, eventually you are multiplying by -1. That's what you're doing. सो अगर आप किसी नंबर को -1 से डिवाइड कर रहे हो तो कुछ फर्क नहीं पड़ेगा, -1 से डिवाइड कर रहे हो तो इवेंचुअली ऑल व्हाट यू आर डूइंग इज मल्टीप्लाइंग बाय -1. I hope all of you have understood this session and you will take enough learning from this session. And whenever you will be solving the CAT level question, none of you will face difficulty while solving these questions. So I'll take a leave. People who have understood the session, please hit the like button. People who have not understood, please put it into the comment box. I can redo all the possible questions once again for all of you n number of times. If you have any important remark, you can put into the comment box. I can again redo it. All right then. So I'll take a leave for today's session. I wish you all the very best for today's for the upcoming mock test which you'll be taking and the CAT examination too. All right. Thank you so much.